thing.
What's that?
Little ditty about Karen and Diane, or something like that. Anyway,
Similar. Close.
yeah.
Jack and
Oh,
Diane.
Jack and Diane. Is it? All right.
Mm.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hi, Gwen.
Close, but no banana. I agree.
Veronica's here. All right. We're
We're
gonna
all
have
looking forward to being on that trip you're going to take them on tonight, Nick.
Freddie, we are gonna take them on.
Oui, monsieur.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, Angela. Hi, Sophia. Everybody ready for Christmas?
No.
I'm just getting ready to start preparing for it.
Uh,
I'm getting ready to get ready for it.
My doggy decided to eat the Christmas chocolate today.
We've had a dog do that
no.
before. How's he doing?
Then got him to the vet right away. I don't know. He's out in the backyard. He can stay there.
We had a lab eat a pound of fudge one time when we left the house. It was Christmas fudge. Yeah. And he was fine. Didn't bother him at all. Lived to 13.
Might try some of that myself then.
Yeah.
I'm just letting people in. So if you've got any questions or anything to report or anything
Welcome,
to say,
James.
Any
Let us
news
know.
on your health, Freddie?
No. Only that I'm, it's amazing, how quickly you can feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's just you don't realize quite how it was affecting you. It's like a lot of things because it sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And when they once I replaced it, but I think they put a stent in, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, slightly the heart's working properly again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good.
it's just a strange mental thing that's kind of occurred, and I don't know whether that's like a near death experience that you weigh things up and things that had seemed important aren't important any longer, and I think it's just does that, and that's what's happened to me really. So the things that used to drive me, I'm finding it hard. I've been finding it hard the last couple of weeks to get back into that kind of drive mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's because values change.
Are you needing to?
Well, I don't need to do anything now. I could sit in a rocking chair for the rest of my life and rock
Yeah.
myself to death. No one's going to say anything. But it's never been who I am. I'm not even one of those people that go and sit by the pool, on holiday. I have to be doing something all the time. So, and I think there's also that kind of working class mentality where I've always had to work. And so I feel like if I'm not doing anything, I kind of feel like I should be. I have to keep reminding myself that I don't have to do anything, but it's still, all those years of being like that, it's difficult to shake. So, I think it's a few things, but as I said, physically, I feel pretty good, and
Yeah.
I've started kind of doing some weights today and doing some exercise today. So, you know, I'll get back in it. I'll be back on it. But thanks for asking.
Sounds like a life reshuffle.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, we still got people coming in. Good to see you, Dakota, Sunita, Jasmine. All right. So today we are going to do the parallel universes. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with this idea that going on simultaneously, there are multiple dimensions that all hold a slightly different or maybe a very different version of you. So in the same time, in the same space that we're in right now, there's a universe. where you're wildly successful, and there's a universe where you're not. There's a universe where you're perfectly healthy and a universe where you're not. And your focus and your emotions change your frequency and dial you in to different parallel realities. Now, I don't know, you don't have to believe that. It's just an idea that's thrown out there, but it's an interesting framework to think about. And I don't know if you've ever read, there's a book called Reality Transurfing, and he talks about this idea that you can surf into different realities using your focus and your emotions to change your frequency. So the things when you're focusing on the things that you fear and you're emotionalizing them, you tend to shift into another universe or dimension where you're drawn to those things. And so maybe we're not actually affecting the world around us. We're just changing our frequency into another dimension. So is this a new idea to anybody? Everybody's Dakota's? Yeah, okay. So, and again, I'm not saying that is or is not how this works. Yeah, quantum jumping. Many people hold these different ideas, but I figured today we would go look at some different dimensions and different YOU, different universes, and you could see yourself and get some answers and see how you live with different traits, different capabilities, maybe different values, and a whole different life. Maybe not totally different, but in these dimensions, your world is going to be exactly the same. The only thing that's going to be different is you. And so you're going to have the same history. You're going to be raised the same way. The only thing that's going to be different is some subtle shifts in a few things that Freddie and I will guide you through. Does that sound cool? Does that sound fun? Any questions on that? Yes, Nolene.
What is your own personal experience of this, Nicholas?
You know, I don't know that it matters whether you believe that you can attract things to you, you can achieve things, or whether you shift dimensions, because I think it all tends to work the same way. So if I believe, if I visualize something and I emotionalize it and it shows up in my life, well, did I just attract that into this universe or did I shift into another reality? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't really know that it matters, but it's kind of it's a fun frame. We'll call it a frame. It's a fun frame to look at the world through, is that you are capable. If you can observe something achieving something, there's a universe where you've achieved that. And if you can tap into that version of you and experience that version of you and get guidance or advice or tap into the frequency of that version of you, then you can become that. Because as humans, we are experts. We are experts at modeling, right? We watch our parents and we just naturally do what they do. Many of us don't even realize it. There's things I'll say that are like my dad or my face, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that was my dad. Because we mirror and we model the people that we spend time with. So if you can have a really clear picture of who you are in these alternate realities, and then when you're going through your day, you're at the grocery store, or you're on a coaching call, or you're on a sales call, and you think, how would me from this universe do it? And you start to model them, you're going to start to get the results they get. Because if you can imagine it, you can do it, right? Did I dodge the question or did that answer it for you?
Bit of dodge and duck, but it was a good answer.
I'm practicing to be a politician someday.
To your mind and body, there's very little difference between imagination and reality. And if you can imagine something strongly enough, your body will react to it. And the joy of hypnosis is that you can change reality, because if you've ever seen a stage show where someone says in a moment the music will start, you're Elvis Presley, and you'll sing and dance like Elvis Presley, that person's not pretending to be Elvis Presley. To all intent and purpose to them, though the audience don't see them as Elvis Presley, they will feel that they are. So if we can, when we take you into that other dimension today, where in that other dimension you are free of all of your limitations, where you're achieving your physical goals or your career goals or whatever it might be. And then we'll suggest that you bring that feeling back. That is who you are. Because if you're imagining it at some level, that is who you are. If your mind is capable of achieving those things. And so that's what's going to happen today. Where you're going to use your imagination to create that other dimensional you, and then we're going to, through hypnosis, enable you to capture that feeling and capture those those gifts that that person has, so you can bring them back. And what I fully expect is that you'll find yourself just doing things that in the past or you weren't doing before. But nothing. We don't actually do any. We don't. There's no fluence coming from me or Nicholas. You know this because you're all most of a therapist yourself. This is just tapping into your own resources, your own strengths, your own abilities, the things that. And I think that's what we're doing all the time with our clients. All we're doing is giving them access to those inner abilities. If we've all heard of that time when there was a car accident and a child was trapped under a car and a woman was walking past, and while everyone was panicking, she picked the car up, held the car up long enough and pulled the kid out. That wasn't suddenly a superpower. She must have already had that power. But because she would think, I can't lift it, she can't. And I think we all have much more strength than we think we have. We have much more ability than we think we have. I think we know that anyway, because we're doing hypnosis. And so all we're going to do is take you into that space. You're going to take yourself there. And I'll ask you all to let go of any limitations. Just go on this ride with us. And then see yourself how you want to see yourself, whatever it is you want to achieve. And then we're going to capture that you, if you like, and bring that back with you, so you can access that much more easily as you're going about your day and your week.
Sunita says, I believe if you imagine something, it is because it already exists in another dimension. You just have to tap into it. And have any of you ever experienced something where you sign up to do something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone or a little bit above your pay grade, and then somehow like the resources or the skill just shows up right in the moment for you to achieve it? Has anyone ever had that experience? Well, that might be like a flash of you from another dimension, like kind of shifting in and you tapping into the energy of that and the skills of that. I don't know. But I think what happens is when you make a decision, I think you shift realities. When you cut off any exit plan, right? When you burn the boats, so to speak, and you make in economics, we call it a credible commitment, right? If I tell you, oh, I'm going to buy your house, Allison knows this, she's a realtor. If I say, oh, I'm going to buy your house, there's no commitment. But if I sign a legal contract and I put down earnest money, now it's a credible commitment and I've got consequences if I leave. So I have to follow through. And so if you make a decision about the person you want to be and you make that credible commitment so there's no backing out, I think that's when you shift into realities. That's when you go into a whole different plane of existence and you find the resources and you grow into that by making that decision. So I'll let you, maybe at the end of this, you can make a decision to tap into a new reality and find a way to burn the boats. But we're going to get started here. I want to, one thing before we start. Have any of you ever watched a movie with someone and they're like, oh, this isn't real. This is so stupid. And they just kind of like ruin the whole movie for you. And like a movie is fun because you can get into the movie like you're there, like you forget you're watching a movie. And it's fun because you get absorbed in the experience. And you all know that's what hypnosis is getting absorbed into the experience. So I'll hypnotize one person, they might say, well, that was stupid. I was just in my imagination. And I might hypnotize another person and do it, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, it felt like reality, right? And so that's the whole thing, is just let yourself have the experience, let it come to you. And hypnosis is a state of allowing. So just allow whatever comes, no judgments. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time here. I don't think I've ever done a process quite like this. So get excited. All right, Freddie, anything before we start?
No, take it away.
All right. Well, get comfortable. Diana, don't just drift off into another universe yet. We're going there. We're going there. Just be patient. Get situated, get comfortable.
Diana lives in a different dimension to everyone else anyway.
All right. Take a couple deep breaths as you allow your eyes to close. Just setting an intention to meet yourselves in different realities, to tap into the multiple facets of who you are. And as you inhale deeply into your belly, exhale and just let out a little sigh. Make an audible and do that for a few breaths and allow that noise to kind of massage and relax your vagus nerve, which winds through all of your bodies and all of your energy centers. Deep, relaxing breath in. Relaxing sigh out. There you go. Good. And imagine standing in front of a building. And it could be any kind of building because this is your imagination. And inside of this building is the world's greatest coach, the world's greatest transformational hypnotherapist who knows exactly what to tell you to help you achieve anything and everything that you want to achieve. And walk around this building. And as you walk around, you may begin to think about what you would like to change, who you would like to grow into. And you may even get curious about who's inside that is such an amazing coach and therapist and hypnotist. And as you approach the door, you notice that door slowly opens and that coach is there to greet you. And the funny thing is, that coach is you.
As you realize that now, get a sense of me standing right in front of you, handing you a set of VR goggles. And you're putting those goggles on. And notice as you look around, how your perspective changes wearing these VR goggles. And in a moment, you're going to meet the most incredible hypnotherapist. You'll hear his voice. He's going to take you to that first dimension.
And as you get acclimated to these VR goggles, you may feel a little disoriented, maybe like an out-of-body experience. And in these VR goggles, you find yourself in a beautiful, long hallway full of doors. Doors to every dimension and every universe you could imagine. And the hallway is so long, you can look down both directions and not see an end. And each door is different. And each door leads to a different reality, a different version of you. And as you get acclimated to moving through this world with just the power of your mind, there's one special door that you're going to go through in just a moment. And behind this door is a version of you that is abundant in every way possible. Abundant in finances, in relationships. A version of you that just attracts everything that they want. And take a moment and find that door. Walk down that hallway until you feel like you are in front of the perfect door to the dimension of the abundant you. And in a moment, you're going to walk through that door and you're going to see that version of you that lives such an abundant life. Filled with gratitude, attracting everything they need the moment they need it. And go through that door into that universe. And notice how you look, completely abundant. What are you like? How do you define abundance? And notice the career and the finances of the most abundant version of you. What emotions does that version of you have to live in that abundant state? What beliefs does that version of you have? What habits does that massively abundant version of you have? How do they feel when they get up in the morning? How does that version of you feel when they go to bed at night? How clear and specific can you see this version of you? What do they wear? What are their facial expressions like? How does this wealthy, abundant, generous version of you treat people? And imagine what it would be like if that was your reality now, isn't it? And that abundant version of you makes great financial decisions and attracts business and is generous and all of the things that they embody. They walk over to you and they tell you something. What do they tell you? And they say, in just a moment, I'm going to transfer all of the energy of abundance, the frequency, all of the beliefs, all of the habits I'm going to transfer to you through the power of my touch. And this abundant version of you puts their hand on your shoulder, and you can feel that energy transferring. And you begin to feel the frequency of that abundance moving through your body, through every cell. Knowing what it feels like to be that abundant version of you, to live and that abundant dimension where all of your needs are met. Notice how much joy, how much freedom. And in a moment, that energy is going to stabilize in every cell and every molecule of your body, and you will bring it back into the hallway with you, knowing exactly how to model and mimic that abundant life. Let that energy stabilize, 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 locking into place now. And in a moment, you're going to go back into the hallway, feeling that abundance in every cell of your being. That's right. Go back through the door, back into the hallway. Where you're going to go into another dimension with Freddy.
And as you walk in that hallway now, with this feeling of abundance flooding through your body, look for the door that has the word freedom on, and you'll find it. Now you're standing in front of that door. You can see that word on that door, freedom. As you open the door, in front of you is a spinning vortex of light that leads to that dimension where you are completely free. And make a decision now to leave any limitations in that hall and take a breath. As you breathe out, step through that dimension into that dimension of freedom and get a sense of that now. Free of all earthly ties. Notice there's no floor beneath you. Get a sense of just drifting in that space of freedom. Free of all judgment. Free of all self-judgment. The most incredible feeling of freedom. You are free. Feel it now. Free of every limiting belief that was ever placed on you. Feel that feeling of freedom flooding through your body. Feel your heart expanding with that feeling of freedom. A feeling you haven't felt before. Nothing bothers or affects you. Nothing disturbs you. All that matters is that feeling of freedom. Just drifting. Free of all limitations. Get a sense of that now. Imagine that freedom has happened to you now and there's nothing you can do about it. The harder you try and remember what it felt like to doubt yourself, the further away those doubts go. As if it happened to someone else in another dimension. This is you. A part of and apart from everything in the universe. Get a sense of that freedom now. And that room opens into space. Get a sense of that now. The completeness, the connection with everything in the cosmos. Feel that freedom now as you just drift there in that space. Just you and the sound of my voice. Nothing bothers or affects you. Nothing disturbs you. Every negative, limiting belief that was ever placed on you, left in the other dimension. In this dimension, you are free. Free to be. And just for a moment, we're going to take a moment just to be in this space of freedom now. How incredible are you? And this freedom is you. It's a part of who you are. It's who you've always been. And everything that's not that was learned. It's not you. And as you feel this feeling of freedom now, the most wonderful, expansive feeling of freedom, a new understanding. Because in a moment, you're going to leave this dimension, but you're going to bring that freedom with you. Imagine it's happened and there's nothing you can do about that. As you drift back out into that hallway with this incredible feeling of freedom, the most wonderful lightness of being, and you're in that hallway now, and you're going to meet Nicholas. He's going to take you to that next door where you can keep building on these wonderful feelings now.
Now that you're feeling abundant and totally free, there's another door somewhere down this long hallway. And on the other side of this door is a realm, a universe, where you're a great leader. And only you know exactly what that means to be a great leader. You may be the leader of your family, the leader of yourself, the leader of a nation. You may be a thought leader. You may lead a business or a community or a team. But in this universe, it's the version of you, the best leader that you can be. And walk down that hallway until you're standing in front of the door that feels like it leads to that dimension. And once you've found that door, take a deep breath and prepare yourself for what you are about to see. And open the door and step into that universe now. And see that version of you as a strong and charismatic leader. And notice what you look like, filled with confidence, filled with competence. Who do you lead? And you may notice all of the virtues that this leader embodies: integrity, honesty, authenticity, decisiveness, humility, generosity, and the right mix of playfulness and discipline. And notice everything about yourself as this great leader. Notice how people respond to you. What do people say to that version of you? Notice how easy and how natural it looks, because you are a great leader. What does that charisma look like? How different do you look? as your unconscious mind locks onto this version of you, to bring it back when you're ready, but not yet. As your unconscious mind continues to learn leadership from this version of you, see it clearly. Notice what actions they take, what language they use. What beliefs must this leader have? And most importantly, what emotions do they experience on a regular basis? Is it determination, certainty, playfulness, persistence, joy? What are you like as this leader? And notice that everything you do with a level of excellence that makes other people just want to follow you. You have authority because you live by example, because of how you treat people and how you carry yourself. In a moment, I'm going to have you step into that version of you as this leader in that moment of peak charisma, peak clarity, peak determination, and peak influence. And go ahead and step into that now and feel all of those emotions radiating through every part of your body into your energy field, noticing what it feels like now that you are a great leader. Nothing about your past has changed, but notice what is life like now with these leadership traits, these leadership virtues, and this charisma radiating through you. And you can try to stop it, but notice what happens instead. You can try to go back to the old version of you, but notice the harder you try, the stronger this feeling of certainty and confidence and charisma gets. And in a moment, you're going to step back into the hallway. And as soon as you step into the hallway, the feeling of abundance, the feeling of freedom, and this feeling of charisma are all going to double and strengthen inside your body and your nervous system. And go ahead and walk back into the hallway and feel those energies doubling, getting stronger and stronger, moving through every part of you, brighter and brighter, locking into every single cell, knowing that this is you. And of course, there's one more dimension to experience today, one more realm of you that Freddy is going to guide you to now.
You know where we're going. It's my favorite place. Come with me. Let's find that door together. Feel that community. Imagine now that we're all walking down that hallway together. Everyone in this group. There is no separation. And we can see it now. There's the door. My favorite place, my favorite dimension. You see the words on the door: unconditional self-love and connection. As I open that door, notice that beautiful light emanating from that dimension. And as we step into that dimension together, that feeling like sometimes when you step off a plane into a really hot place and you feel that sudden feeling of warmth on your body. But as we step through that door into that new dimension of unconditional self-love, feel your body flooded with that feeling of unconditional self-love. And notice in this world, it's populated with the people you love, people you've loved, people you've helped throughout your life, a whole community of people that you've known throughout your life, that have helped you, that have loved you, that have guided you, and people that you've helped and guided who are living their lives differently now because of you. And as we move in this world together, look around and you'll see the faces of the people in this group, this community, and feel that connection now. There is no separation. And notice that you are beyond your physical being. The essence of who you are is pure energy, pure light, pure intelligence, pure love. Get a sense of that now as your body is flooded with that feeling. Feel your heart expanding with that feeling of unconditional self-love. And as that feeling floods through your body, as we drift in that space together, notice that every limitation is now gone, every doubt gone from your mind, because it cannot coexist in this space of unconditional self-love. Because you are love, and you are loved, and you are loving, and you're already the most perfect creation. And can a dog be a tree? Can a tree be a dog? Can the sun be the rain? Can the rain be the sun? Everything is perfectly how it should be. And you are perfect. You are the most perfect creation. Get a sense of that now. And that feeling of unconditional self-love. In your mind, you're making that decision to be kind to yourself, to take care of yourself. And know it's okay to love yourself. Show yourself the same love that you show the people in your life, the people that you help, the people you work with. Wanting for yourself what you want for others. Because you are love, you are loved, and you are loving. Feel that wonderful feeling flooding through your mind. Feel your heart filling with a feeling of gratitude. The ability to love. The ability to be loved. How incredible are we as human beings? How lucky are we to be in this dimension together? Notice that feeling once again of freedom, freedom from all earthly ties. Just drifting in that space. And notice that feeling of freedom now. Freedom of judgment, freedom of being judged. Free of all regret. Free of the past. Free of the future. Free to be in this space now. And notice as we spend that time in that space of freedom, how that energy field around you grows. You may even see it as a color. And feel your heart expanding with that feeling of gratitude and love, freedom, joy. How lucky are we to be able to experience that feeling? How lucky are we? How incredible are you? Get a sense of that now. Every doubt that was ever placed on you, every negative limiting belief that ever held you back, gone. Imagine that's happened. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just the way it is. You are this feeling, and this feeling is you. I don't know, will be a minute, an hour, maybe tomorrow, when you suddenly realize that these wonderful feelings you've experienced here together are with you, and there's nothing you can do about that. A calm, an inner confidence and belief, and a new understanding that you are love. You are pure intelligence. You're already the most perfect creation. You're already a whole being. Get a sense of that now. Because in a moment, you're going to drift back into that corridor. But this feeling is now you. And you are this feeling. Get a sense of that now. A lightness of being you may have never experienced before. Know it's okay to feel that good. And want this for everyone you meet. Get a sense out now as you drift back into that hallway. You're going to meet Nicholas. He's going to show you your future, where all of these wonderful feelings, these new abilities and skills are going to be there for you. Get a sense of that now as you drift back into that corridor, and you can see that smile on Nick's face as I say goodbye to you and leave you there in that hallway with Nicholas. So that smile on his face, and feel that feeling of unconditional self-love now.
Noticing how all of these emotions, all of these energies are stacking on top of each other, compounding and growing every moment. And you may have forgotten that you're inside of a VR headset. But as you remember that, before you're guided out of it, you wander down the hallway, curious about what version of you is behind each door, knowing that at any time you can come back to this incredible hallway to find a universe where there's a version of you that can teach you something, that can show you something. And as you wander the hallway, before we go back, you find a mirror. And you look in this mirror and you see a new version of you. That was a future version of you, but is now a current version of you. The you that is abundant, that is free, as an incredible leader, that has unconditional, unwavering self-love. And look at that version of you in the eyes, because it is you. Notice the glow in your eyes and your skin, the charisma that exudes from your energy field. What's different about you now than when we started just a while ago? And notice all the things that look different, that feel different. All the skills and traits and virtues and emotions that you embody now, effortlessly and naturally. And I want you to come up with just a symbol or two to remember this experience by. A symbol that means something to you, to allow you to come back to this state, this feeling at any time. And only your unconscious mind knows exactly what that will be. And And when you realize just exactly what that symbol means, you can go ahead and take that VR headset off and find yourself back in a room in that building having an incredible session with Freddy.
And as you drift in that space now, I'm going to count to 10. On 8, your eyes will open. This new experience, this new you, is going to stay with you. Grow stronger day by day. Free of the past, free of all limitations, free to be. And on 10, a new understanding will continue to grow. Imagine those changes have happened. And there's nothing you can do about that now. Even at first, you have to pretend it was something that was said to you, something that was done to you. You really have no choice. It's just the way it is. The harder you try and remember what it felt like to doubt yourself, the further away those doubts go. Free to be. 1, being absolutely wonderful. 2, to create that life you want and do it fearlessly. 3, a feeling of freedom from every limiting belief that ever held you back. 4, feel the force of that energy and unconditional self-love flooding through your body and mind. Every cell, every molecule, every atom alive with that feeling of freedom. 5, feeling incredibly alive now. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, feeling absolutely wonderful. 9, 10. I wonder which dimension Diana's still living in.
Which one are all of us in? I heard someone talking the other day, Freddie, that there's 8 billion people on the planet, and each one of them is literally living on a different world. Like, we all perceive the world differently. It would be impossible for us to perceive it the same way. Everyone's living on a different planet here. It was an interesting thought. There's 8 billion versions of the Earth, and our perceptions and how we feel about things changes which planet we're living on. It's kind of an interesting thought experiment.
Well, the understanding that nothing actually exists outside of your skull except as perception. I'm just chemicals and electrically excitable cells in your head. I don't exist outside of your head. Just think about that. And it's a strange experience. Then we realize that we can decide. And I think it was Marina Costina posted something where she said that every cell of your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good way of thinking about that. And I, in these last few minutes, when you realize that I've realized it because I've had this experience with my heart. I realize now that every thought affects that electrical current in my heart. And I can make my heart beat faster or slower depending on what I'm thinking. So that's just a very obvious understanding of how your thoughts or your imagination affects your physical being. And when we understand that, and I've had a very clear experience of that now, you realize that all of your thoughts. So we should be aware of those thoughts and have control over our thoughts. I know we can't control our thoughts because they bubble up, but we can choose which thoughts we want to pay attention to. And that's the difference. It's not, no one knows where those thoughts come from. No one has control over those thoughts. They bubble up from somewhere. And by the time they get to your conscious awareness, they've gone through that matrix, which is your life experience. But we can be aware of what thoughts are good for us and not good for us. And know
Freddie,
that we can choose that.
I had a coach tell me one time, you can't control the first thought, but you can control the second thought. Meaning, thoughts come up. We intercept thoughts from other people, from all kinds of places. Who knows? But thoughts come up, right? And so you can't necessarily control that. But the thought that you think after that thought is what you can control. And I think that is exactly what you're saying with, thoughts come up. It's just we get to decide from there how to treat them.
Yeah, and as I said, once for me, it's been a very maybe all of you already understood that, but for me, it's been very clear how a thought can affect you. Well, every thought, you like in that post, as I said, where she says, your every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts, and that makes kind of sense to me. And when we think about it like that, then we can think about how do we want ourselves to behave, and what do we want to communicate, and if they are listening in, what thoughts do we want them to be listening into? And I've been very aware of how much rubbish comes up, how much absolute rubbish we think. Well, I do anyway. And it's like garbage. I think, and now I think, just stop thinking that. It's just like, that's just garbage. I've spent 2 minutes thinking about something completely ridiculous. So I think, once we're aware that we can't control those thoughts, they come up, but we can be aware of what thoughts we want to pay attention to. And I think that makes a big difference. When we understand how that impacts on our physical being, then it makes it even more important that we understand that and take back that control. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah.
Let's check in with everyone. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up.
Are your feet back on the ground yet?
Everybody looks pretty good.
It's a wonderful understanding that we can, in any moment, take ourselves to another dimension. In any moment, you're feeling bad. Let's go to that dimension where I'm completely weightless and I'm just floating. Let's go to that dimension where I've got everything I need, or that dimension of unconditional self-love. That's, for me, is the most fascinating thing about us as human beings. As long as we have one foot on the ground, because it's easy to get lost. I see it all the time with people, but knowing that it is us that is doing it and having control over it, but we can go anywhere. That's the joy of it. We can go anywhere we want in our head at any point in time. And I don't know whether any other animal on the planet has that ability, but I know we do. So we don't have to be stuck. When I work with my clients, sometimes I think, where do I want to go today? It would be nice to go to the beach. So I'll take my client to the beach and we'll put all the rubbish in a boat, or we'll bury it in the sand. I think, where do I want to go today? Because I'm on that trip with them. And, that's the joy of it, isn't it? You can be, in a horrible, windy, dark winter day in a cold room, and still take yourself off to another dimension where you're on the beach, where you can be with your friends, meet other people. That's what I love about this. But then I am a bit crazy.
Does anyone want to share? I see some good comments here. Sounds like people had good experiences. We'd love to hear if anything specific came up or anything anyone would like to share.
Diana, nice to see you back.
No, not back. Yeah, almost disappeared again then. Well, yes, I just wanted to say
there were two dimensions that I knew what was behind the door before I went through. But the universe one felt like coming home. Everything that happened, everything I went through, I knew before. And it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
What did you, when you say you knew what was behind the door, how, like, what do you mean by that?
I knew that as soon as I opened the door, I knew what was going to happen, and I knew what had happened before.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And I saw the people, I saw me as I was, and I just knew that was like coming home.
Beautiful. It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It was beautiful. And the other one that Freddie shared, before I went in there, I knew what that was going to be like. The how you feel and what you do and the self-love. Yeah, that was equally as lovely. So thank you.
It's good to know. Good to hear.
Allison, you looks like you sounds like you had a pretty good experience. So,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I just redid my KPA, Keller Profile Assessment, and it's all about leadership coaching. And I'm 20%, 19% job fit for what I'm doing now, and everything that else was like expansion director, teacher, productivity coach, team lead, leader. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that you did the leadership thing, and I that was very vivid for me, the stuff that was behind that door.
yeah, well, you've known you're a good recruiter and networker, and yeah.
So yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I'm going through what I'm going through, because it's not a good fit. It's not the best optimal fit for me.
And how did it
So
feel to be into that position in your imagination versus
I was lit. Yeah, the alternate universe, I was lit up.
how much more successful? This question's for everybody. How much more successful and influential are you going to be when you're lit up versus when you're operating at like a 20% fit? Right? Are your results going to be a little different or dramatically different?
Dramatically. And I felt it. I felt each door. I felt limitless, and all those. I wrote them down. Abundant, generous, and I felt the download.
Yeah, good.
I saw the hand on my shoulder, and
I forgot I did that. Sometimes, when you're 3 loops deep and in trance, when I'm in trance with all you guys, we forget what happens. Cool.
Yeah.
You are limited. You are limitless. It is like that. I was listening to that book, the Marcus Aurelius, anyway, and he says that if it's possible for a human to do, then it's possible for you to do. So anything that any other human being can do, it's possible for you to. I'm not talking about physical things, because obviously, you're going to run like Usain Bolt if you're not 6'5" and live where he's lived. But from a mental point of view, from an achievement point of view, then it comes down to what Nick was talking about. It's about commitment, and it's talking about how badly. For me, it's always a question: how badly do you want it? What are you willing to do to make that happen? When I see people for smoking or weight loss, especially when I see them one-to-one, it might be different in a group or online, but I'll get them to write down the outcome they want and then actually sign a piece of paper committing to themselves, a little contract to themselves. I say, think about it first before you do it, then sign. And like Nick was saying about making that commitment, you've signed a document, commit to it that I'm going to achieve this, and then make that commitment to yourself, and do it, because that's the only thing that's separating us from achieving everything we want to achieve. And it's only that question. When it comes to things like physical goals, there are only 2 questions: how badly do I want to feel or look that good? And what are you willing to do to make it happen? Because we can change our physical being, can't we, to some extent? Not everything, otherwise I'd be taller. I'd have a lot more hair. But you know, in other, you know, when it comes to things like weight and stuff like that, yeah, of course we can. But it's how badly do I want it? And finding a big enough reason again, you know, then committing. But I know you get this. I know you do. And I know you've had an experience of it today, of seeing what's possible. And if you can see it and you can speak it out loud, then your chances are you're going to achieve it. You know, see it, speak it out loud, and then see where you go with it. Make a commitment to yourselves. You know, and I'll ask you again, you know, we have got this group here, and I would ask you to tap into that that connection. You know, we know today, don't we? You went to these different dimensions, and then we realize that there is no separation between us. There is no separation. There absolutely isn't. There's a physical separation. There's physical and space, but there's no separation when it comes to the energy we have and the essence of who we are. And we have an opportunity to tap into that collective energy, you know, and think about this group we've got and use it. You know, use that energy. Know that we're not alone in this. I think often we feel it's just me against the universe. I think if we tap into this collective communication and connection and collective consciousness, we can achieve far more than we can if we just think we're just doing this on our own, because there's so much more to us than just our physical being. And I know you've had an experience of it today. So use that, you know, and use your own self-hypnosis tools that you've got. If you can see it, if you can visualize it, if you can step into that outcome, as you have done today, feel into it. I would always suggest that you ask the question, how much fun is it? When you step into that outcome, step into it. How much fun is this? How much fun can I make it? Because I've said to you before, we're geared toward pleasure. We want to feel good. And if you know how good you're going to feel when you've created that business, or you created the body you want, you created the relationship you want, then everything about your body and mind's geared toward making it happen. And it becomes easy. You don't have to get motivated every day if in the back of your mind, you know how good you're going to feel when you achieve it. So, you know, this is not complex. It's just an understanding that you already have everything you need, and you're already perfect. You know, we look in the mirror, we see everything that's wrong with us, but we have to believe that you have been created perfectly. You are. You know, as I said, you know, there's a tree, ask the flower, you know, if it's perfect. No, because it is. And it's just, you are the most perfect creation. You're already a whole being. So just feel into that. Take that feeling of unconditional self-love with you. Take that feeling of freedom. Take that feeling of abundance. Decide what you want. And then say, okay, I'm committing to it. But as long as you felt into the outcome and find that it's fun to do. If it's not fun, change the goal. Because you can spend years working towards something only to find it wasn't what you wanted. You know, feel into it first. Get a sense of what it feels like. And then everything about you is geared toward it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it today. Nice to see you, Sarah. You know, and I hope you enjoyed today. Anything else to add, Nick?
No, unless somebody else wants to share. Other than that, that pretty much wraps us up. But I saw Sarah unmuted herself. Sarah, did you want to share something?
Oh, I just wanted to say it was so good to see you, Freddie.
Oh,
You've been on my
thanks.
heart. You've been in my thoughts. So I'm
Thanks.
really glad to see your face and glad you're with us.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There was a time I didn't think I was going to be with you, but no, I feel great, and it's great to see. You know, it's great to see you feeling back into like being yourself again and feeling that freedom again. It's really good to see. So thanks
Thank you.
everyone. Again, thanks everyone that sent love and well wishes. I'm sure it's helped. So,
Freddie, maybe you're in a different dimension now after that incident.
I'm definitely in a different dimension.
You never went back to the previous
no.
one.
I said to someone the other day, just because I look the same, it doesn't mean I am the same. Because I'm definitely not the same person. No.
Interesting.
No, I left a lot of stuff on that surgery bed. Yeah. So
Dakota,
it
how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. I wanted to say that at the end of the abundance thing and the transition between that and the freedom, felt this thing. It was like a point in my shoulder, but it was like lower and in my back. And I felt it come up as if it was going somewhere and it was leaving. So I thought that was really cool as as we were going through that process. Thank you.
Right,
Thank you for doing this.
enjoy that freedom. You know, some of you will work with people who've got fibromyalgia, and the medical world really have no answer to it. You know, they give people beta blockers and all kinds of stuff, but the pain moves around the person's body, so you know it can't be purely physical if it moves. And so, what I believe and what I think's just happened to you, Dakota, as you go through life, every now and again we have some kind of trauma and it gets stuck somewhere in our body and it manifests like a physical feeling of pain. And what you've had is just that trauma leaving your body. That's what I believe just happened there. And
I
that's why
think
you
so
feel that
too.
yeah. And I
I think it had.
yeah. So I'm really pleased for you. I'm pleased you had that experience today.
You know what it was, Dakota? That was every single money block and limiting belief that you've ever had. And it all balled up together and it left completely. And you may notice over the next few weeks, months, or years, money flows to you easily, effortlessly, and abundantly. But that's just a suggestion.
That's right.
Imagine that's happening and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
too
you.
late. No going
Right.
back.
Great stuff.
Beautiful. You guys are all amazing, incredible humans. I love seeing you every week. Do we have a
Mhm.
call before Christmas? No, the day after?
I
What day's
think
Christmas?
it's the 19th now. No, it would be Boxing Day, but I think we're doing this thing on January the 9th, that we're going to do a kind of 2 hour kind of little special workshop, aren't we?
We are. We sure are. Very special.
But I've
Now,
got
well,
to think,
now that all their abundance blocks are completely dissolved and they're all abundant and free and self-loving, and do we even need to do these sessions anymore, Freddie? I think we're done.
well, Jasmine sent me a pair of odd socks. She says they're not odd, but
They're
they are
not, they're,
definitely different colors. You know, after I explained to her that it was my odd socks that created the problem in the first place, and she's sent me a pair of odd socks for Christmas. So thanks very much. I'll be
You
wearing them next time I see you. But no, look, if we don't see you before, obviously we're not going to. You know, have a beautiful Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Take this wonderful feeling because, you know, you'll find that people around you change when you're in that space. You know, it's just something you give off when you're feeling free and you're feeling, um, you know, that feeling of unconditional self-love. You cannot not give that off, and that will affect everyone around you. You know, and Alison, you know, we've said it before about, and same for you, Dakota, if part of your thinking, or any of you that are thinking about increasing your business, remember, and it takes training, but to live in the moment with an open heart. And when you're living in the moment with an open heart, you increase the magnetic energy field around you, which if you're have control of your thoughts, which affect every cell, and your thoughts are positive thoughts, not just for yourself, but for everybody else, then you're going to draw to you the things that you want in your life. So just bear those things in mind as you go through these next few days and weeks, and you'll find that people around you change. People will experience you in a different way when you're in that space of peace. So once again, have a beautiful Christmas. You know,
So, Freddie, I think we should. We're doing a call next week, right? I'll be on. I'll be on if you guys want to do a call.
is that Boxing Day?
I don't know. We don't have Boxing Day here, so the 26th, the day after.
26th.
Yeah, I can run it if you want it. If you want the day off, that's
No, well, no, it's up to you. You can run it if you want, but I'll probably turn up just to
okay.
say hello to
We'll
everyone.
figure something out. I'll send an email out. We'll come. I'm sure we'll come up with something. You guys
Yeah.
inspire me every week with something, so we'll we'll have that. And just notice how much different you already are as this week goes on. And oops, did I lose everybody? Oh, there you are. Yeah, and we'll see y'all next week. Have an incredible Christmas.
Okay.
And
See you
you and Nick too, Freddie. Have a
I
great
will.
one.
Thanks,
Well,
Thank
Diana.
you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
Happy holidays.
I'll get this
Bye.
replay up
Take care.
today or tomorrow, and you guys can re-listen to it. Saw a couple comments on that. So, all right.
Happy
see you soon.
holidays, guys. Thank
You
you.
too, Allison. Happy holidays.
Take care.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
You
Merry
too.
Christmas.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
We should be playing out with some music, really, but never mind.
You can sing, Freddie. You can sing.
Have yourself a very Merry Christmas. See you all
Gorgeous.
soon. Take care.